Good day, students and other viewers at home. Welcome to the Learn at Home program organized by FCT Universal Basic Education Board. My name is Hussein Abdullahi, your usual mathematics teacher. Today, we are going to continue with our last topic we discussed, which is inequality. If you can recall, we discussed about inequality or how to get the solutions of inequalities. Today, we are taking the conclude part of the inequality. That is how, after getting the answers, after getting the solutions, how we are going to sketch the graph of the inequalities. That is the solutions of the inequalities. So this topic involves sketching or drawing graph. So it is expected that you should be in a position that you can be able to draw an inequality graph. And as you know, drawing graph is a practical work. That is why, as students today, you're supposed to at least exercise your hands, as I am doing now. Exercise your hand very well so that you can be able to draw graph of inequality. I hope you have done so. Okay, let's go straight to the topic, graphs of inequality. Under graph of inequality, we have to consider what we call number line. The number line, that number line that you are being taught in JS1, is that number line that we always use to draw inequality graphs. So when you are going to draw the inequality graph, you must use the number line. And as you know, or as we have discussed earlier in your previous class, number line is just a horizontal line where we have negative numbers, positive numbers, and zero. And on the number line, we have already discussed that when you are moving to the right of the number line, the numbers are increasing. While when you are moving to the left-hand side, the numbers are decreasing. So this is what is going to be in your mind as you are drawing graphs of inequalities. Therefore, a graph of an inequality is a graph drawn on the number line, depending on the solutions of the inequalities given. Look, for instance, what we have on the board here. We have been getting solutions such as this. We say the inequality x less than 2 means that x can have any value less than 2. That is why we have this symbol less than. It means values of x does not include 2 itself, but values or numbers less than 2. On the number line, these values can be shown as in this figure. So look at our number line. Look at it. It's a horizontal straight line where you have positive numbers. You also have negative numbers. So on this number line, as I told you, we told you earlier that when you are moving to the right, look at 1. After 1, we have 2, followed by 3, by 4. So that is how the number line is arranged. As you are moving to the right, the numbers are increasing, while as you move to the left, the numbers are decreasing. This explains why we said 2 is greater than 1, 1 is greater than 0, 0 is greater than minus 1. It means minus 1 is also greater than minus 2. Because as you move to the left, the numbers are decreasing. So now, this inequality solution, or we say this x is less than 2, it means that values of x are numbers that are less than 2. Meaning that's why you have to come to the 2, draw an empty circle. Draw an empty circle right on 2, where you have 2 on the number line. Then you draw your arrow, or you make this part, left hand side of the 2, to be thicker than the right hand side, meaning that the numbers or your answers are numbers on the left hand side of 2. That is why we make this part, the left hand side of 2, to be thicker, and the arrow here is pointing to the left. So meaning that the solutions are values that are less than 2. Then why? You may now ask yourself, why is this circle empty? It's not shaded as this part. It's not shaded as this part of the number line. Yes, because 2 is not among the values of x. That is why the circle is left empty, to show you that 2 is not among the values of x. It is only numbers that are less than 2 that are values of x. That's why we have the arrow line in the above figure shows the range of values that x can have. The empty circle at 2 shows that 2 is not included. 2 is not included. Therefore, when you are writing the values of x, you have to know that 2 is not going to be among them. It's not included. And because it is not included, that is why, despite the fact that we have circle on 2, but that circle is left empty, it's not shaded. So this explains why 2 is not among the values of x. And that is always, whether you have greater or you have less than, if the number in question is not part of the solution, the circle is going to be left empty. It's not going to be shaded. Look at another example here. The inequality x greater than or equal to minus 1. Here we brought another inequality symbol that has equality sign, not only greater than as we have in the first case. Now in the second case, we have greater than or equal to minus 1. So as we have done in the first case, have your number line, draw your number line. When you draw your number line as a straight horizontal line, you now, because here is now greater, so you move to the right. We are looking for numbers that are greater than minus 1. So you are moving to the right. We say on the number line, moving to the right, you get numbers that are greater than the number in question. So we have greater than or equals to minus 1. The inequality, this inequality means that x can have the value minus 1 because of that equality sign. So that is why minus 1 is now included, not as in the other case where we say 2 is not included. In this case, minus 1 is included because of this equality sign. So anytime you have an inequality symbol that have equality sign, it means the number in question is also among the values of x. So that is why we said the value minus 1 is included, and any other value that is greater than minus 1. So the moment you heard of the word greater, we move to the right, because we said when you move to the right, you get numbers that are greater than the number in question. So any other number that is greater than minus 1 is a value of x. That is why we have it like this. The arrow or the thicker part of the number line now is moving to the right. And look at the circle here. It's no more empty. The circle now is shaded. The circle here is shaded, signifying that minus 1 is included in the solution. Minus 1 is among the values of x. So anytime you have equality sign, it is telling you that the number given or the number gotten as solution is also among the values of x. Then if you are drawing the graph, you are going to have your cycle, but in this case not empty, it's going to be shaded. So that's why we have -1 here, and the cycle is shaded, while your arrow, the thicker arrow, is now pointing to the right. So this is telling you that -1 is among the values of x. You can be in a position now to list the values of x. -1 is among the values of x. Then we move to the right. So 0 is among the values of x. 1 is among the values of x. 2 is among the values of x. 3 is among the values of x. 4 is among the values of x. 5 is among the values of x, continuously, because you cannot list all of them. But we know that all numbers on the number line that are more than -1, that are greater than -1, are values of x. So this is the main thing that you saw, because solving inequality equations, we have done that. It is only the graph, how we can sketch the solutions on the graph, that we need to do. So that the most important thing now is to know why a circle is left empty and why, while another one is shaded. We said a circle will be left empty if there is no equality sign. If the number gotten as answer of the inequality is not included in the values of the letter given, or in the values of x. But if the number is included, then the circle is going to be shaded. We are now going to take one or two examples. You are now going to take one or two examples to buttress what we have discussed so far. Then I give you assignment to see how you are going to also draw your own number lines of the solution you have gotten out of the assignments that we are going to take. So this is our first example. The question read as follows: that solve and sketch the graph of the inequality 5x minus 2 greater than or equal to 8. The first part of it, which is to solve, we have done that in our previous lesson. But here we are going to do both. We solve and then sketch the graph. So in our solution today, we have 5x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 8. Well, I'm not going to waste time here because we have done that. It is expected that you should be able to solve. Now we have 5x now greater than or equal to 8 plus 2. 5x is now greater than or equal to 10. 5x, we divide both sides by 5 to get our x is now greater than 10 by 5, which means our x now is greater than or equal to 2. This is the solution. Then you draw the graph of the solution. So we have 2. Make sure the answer is there. Make sure the answer is there on the number line. So we have 2, 3, 4. The most important thing is to make sure the number 2 appears on the number line. So that's why you see when I'm writing the numbers, I started with 2. Then remember we said numbers that appears on the left of a given number is less than the number. So after 2, the next number less than 2 is 1. Then 0. Now we have greater than or equal to 2. You go to where you have 2, draw that cycle, we said. Then because of this equality sign, because of the equality sign, the cycle must be shaded very well. Then you have your ticker. So this is how to get the graph of the inequality. Our solution, we have solved 5x minus 2 greater than or equal to 8. 5x, we have discussed how to get the additive inverse of a given number. The additive inverse of minus 2 is plus 2, meaning that you add 2 to both sides. So when 2 is added to both sides, now we have 10 on the right hand side. Now 5x greater than or equal to 10, again we look for the multiplicative inverse. We now look for the multiplicative inverse of 5 because x is multiplied by 5. And the multiplicative inverse of 5 is 5. That is, you divide both sides by 5. Having done that, we now got our answer as x is greater than or equal to 2. And the graph of this x is greater than or equal to 2 is now, you draw your number line, make sure 2 appears on the number line. And since 2 is included in the solution, so since 2 is included in the solution, you now shade the cycle where that appeared on 2. So it is shaded and you point it to the right and shade the line there to show that it is numbers that then the answers or the solutions start from 2 and numbers greater than 2. Second example. Solve and sketch our example 2, we are to solve and sketch the graph of minus 5 greater than 4x plus 15. So as usual, we are going to look for the additive inverse of plus 15, which is minus 15, and now subtract it from both sides. So we have minus 5 minus 15 is now greater than 4x, because 15 minus 15 will be nothing. Then we'll be left with only 4x on the right hand side. Now, two numbers that have the same sign, their sum, if you are adding them, you just simply add them and maintain their sign. So that here will now be minus 20 is now greater than 4x. Then, as we have discussed also yesterday, it is allowed to interchange the positions of the inequality terms, because we want x to be on the left hand side. Since x is now on the right hand side, we can now change it, but when you are doing so, the inequality symbol must be reversed. So we have 4x now is now less than minus 20. We have interchanged the sides now. Now, what is left for us to do now is to remove this 4. The 4 that is multiplying x. So we divide both sides by 4. Less than minus 20 divided by 4. And that will give x is less than minus 5 as our solution. X is less than minus 5. So the only thing left now is for you to draw the graph. Minus 5 must be on the number line, and other numbers less than minus 5. Remember, we said when you move to the left, the numbers are decreasing. So after minus 5, we have our minus 6, minus 7, while here you have minus 4, minus 3, minus 2. Then, since we are looking for numbers that are less than minus 5, it means we are going to move to the left. So when you are moving to left, you go to where you have minus 5, draw your circle, which is going to be empty, and then make this side of the arrow to be tick. So this is now the graph. The graph is all about, it's very simple. It's all about pointing the arrow to the right or to the left. So you need to analyze your solution. The solution may be less than the number gotten or greater than the number gotten. But if there is equality sign, the circle is not going to be left empty. The circle must be shaded. But if there is no equality sign, that is when the circle is going to be empty. So at this point, I'm now going to give you an assignment so that you go and solve. The solution, we have already done how to get the solution. So after solving, where I'm very much interested now is how you draw the graph of the inequality. So take this as an assignment, solve and submit before the next lesson. Solve So these 3 questions are the assignment. I expect you to solve first. After getting your solution, then follow the steps we have seen in the 2 examples given to draw your graph. So at this point, we have come to the end of today's lesson. If we meet next time, we are going to take another topic of interest. So I wish you safe, and also try as much as possible to do your assignment. It's very important because it is by attempting the question given that you can be able to learn. Thank you and stay safe till we meet next time.